Something unusual happened in NCIS Season 23, Episode 19, and it didn't feel like a normal case of the week ending. It felt like the show was quietly pointing at something or someone that it never actually showed on screen. And if you were paying attention, you probably felt it too. Because this episode didn't just close the case of Wayne Rogers, it may have just reopened an old shadow from Gibbs's past. The episode centers around one man, Wayne Rogers, the corrupt CID director whose arms trafficking scheme ultimately led to the death of NCIS Director Leon Vance. And that alone already sets the tone. This isn't just another criminal. This is the man responsible for tearing a hole straight through the heart of NCIS. So when Rogers gets arrested, it feels like justice is finally catching up. But NCIS rarely makes justice that simple. Rogers is facing jail time, but instead of accepting his fate, he does what powerful men in this universe always do. He bargains. He tries to cut a deal. Immunity in exchange for information. Witness protection in exchange for survival. And that's where everything starts to feel wrong. Because the NCIS team doesn't just disagree, they snap. Parker is so enraged, he physically attacks a federal prosecutor. That moment alone tells you something important. This isn't just professional frustration anymore. This is personal. Vance's death changed the entire emotional gravity of the team. And Rogers walking away untouched? That wasn't acceptable. Not even close. But then the case takes a sharp turn. A convoy transfer. Witness protection. A man who was supposed to disappear forever gets shot. Killed. Clean. Professional. From an impossible distance, over 4,500 feet away. That's nearly a mile and a half. And the team immediately knows what that means. This wasn't random. This wasn't emotional revenge. This was precision. Military-level precision. Jimmy is the one who says it out loud without saying too much. There aren't many snipers in the world who can make a shot like that, and suddenly the room goes quiet. Because everyone is thinking the same thing. Who? Who has that kind of skill? And that kind of patience? The case feels like it should be closed right there. But NCIS doesn't let it go, and neither does the episode. Then comes the moment that changed the entire conversation among fans. Parker's private scene with his sister Harriet. It looks calm on the surface, almost domestic, but underneath it something is off. Harriet suggests something dark, that Parker might have done it, and Parker doesn't deny it emotionally. He doesn't get defensive. Instead, he does something stranger. He plays it off. He says he doesn't know anything about sniper rifles, which on its own sounds like a simple denial. But NCIS never writes dialogue that clean, especially not an episode like this. Because right after that conversation, the show drops its real clue. Harriet mentions Rogers' car breaking down. The alternator was disconnected. No explosives, no public execution, just a quiet mechanical failure that ensured timing and control. And Parker's response? Not surprise, not confusion, but calm understanding, too calm. Almost like he already knows what happened. And then comes the detail that fans immediately locked onto. Parker offers Harriet salmon, fresh from Alaska. A simple line, almost throwaway. But in NCIS storytelling, nothing like that is accidental. Because Alaska is not just a place in this universe. It's him. It's Gibbs. Now, let's talk about why this theory exploded the moment the episode aired. Leroy Jethro Gibbs was not just any former agent. He was a Marine Scout sniper, one of the best marksmen the franchise has ever established, a man whose skill set was repeatedly shown to include long-range precision, patience, and surgical-level execution. And when Gibbs left the series in Season 19, he didn't just retire. He went to Alaska, Naktok Bay, isolation, wilderness, silence, the perfect place for someone who doesn't want to be found. So when you combine everything this episode gives us, a nearly impossible sniper shot, a perfectly disabled escape vehicle, a silent, controlled execution of a man tied to Vance's death, and a casual mention of Alaska salmon right after, you start to see why fans are connecting the dots, because it almost feels like the show is whispering a name without saying it. Gibbs. But here's where the deeper layer comes in. This isn't just about revenge. Not really, because Gibbs and Vance had a long, complicated history. Leon Vance and Gibbs weren't always aligned. They clashed, they disagreed, they challenged each other constantly. But over time, something real formed between them. Respect, trust, even friendship, in the quiet, unspoken NCIS way. And Vance's death earlier in the season didn't just remove a director. It removed one of the few people Gibbs had come to genuinely understand. So if Gibbs did act here, even unofficially, even off book, it wouldn't be random vengeance. It would be closure. But the most important detail, we never actually see Gibbs. Not once. No confirmation, no return scene, no Mark Harmon appearance, just implication, just shadow logic, just storytelling breadcrumbs left for the audience to connect. And that's what makes this episode so powerful. It doesn't confirm anything. It doesn't need to. It lets the audience sit in the uncertainty. Because NCIS has always operated on one core truth. The most dangerous actions in this world are the ones that never get officially recorded, the ones done off the grid, the ones done for reasons no report will ever fully explain. So did Gibbs come back? Did he take the shot? Did he quietly avenge Vance without ever stepping back into the light? The episode refuses to answer, but it gives you everything you need to ask the question. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Gibbs isn't meant to return as a character anymore. Maybe he exists now as something else in the story, a possibility, a ghost in the system, a reminder that in the world of NCIS, some debts don't get settled in court. They get settled from a mile away. If you've watched this episode, the question practically asks itself, was this justice or Gibbs? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one of those moments where the show stops talking directly to us and starts letting us argue with each other. So, where does this leave us after NCIS Season 23, Episode 19? On the surface, the case is closed. Wayne Rogers is gone, the threat tied to Vance's death has been removed, and the team can finally breathe again. But NCIS has never been a show that lets justice feel that clean. Because the deeper you look at this episode, the more it feels like something happened outside the frame. Something the team didn't officially authorize, and something the show refuses to confirm outright. That's what makes this ending so powerful. Whether it was coincidence, strategy, or something far more personal, the idea of a silent enforcer acting from the shadows changes everything. And if that really was Gibbs in the background, then this wasn't just revenge. It was closure, delivered the only way someone like him would ever do it. But NCIS leaves us exactly where it wants us, questioning, connecting dots, and debating what's real and what's implied. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think Gibbs really returned in spirit or action? Or is this just NCIS playing with fan expectations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep NCIS theories, hidden details, and episode explanations you won't find anywhere else.